Hi guys, so you're probably wondering where I've been the last couple days. Well, a few things before we get started with today's video. But I am being harassed on a platform, one of my social media platforms, and I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to say which platform it is, but one of my many social media platforms, I have like a lot. I am being harassed and being told things about my body that I don't like. And it literally made me want to quit all of my social media. And I know it's one of my followers because all my social medias are private, which makes that far worse. Second, I think I ate something I wasn't supposed to because my skin has been like fighting me lately, and my skin looks terrible, and that's the reason why I'm wearing so much makeup today. Yeah, I just haven't been feeling good, and like my knee's been killing me. I have a thing with my knee right now. And yeah, there's just been so much going on. I even talked with the collaborator with the channel, like this channel, who I'm collaborating with, and she said that I should come back, but I should, not like, I should take it steady, not like, because like this isn't meant for me or like the pleasure of other people. This is so that I can read to my friend. So yes, I will be coming back, but it's on my own terms. Okay. Chapter 3. At Lightfall, Piper was busily packing for the sleepover. Let's see, she said, looking around. She wanted to take her dream diary, her tooth light, a few carefully selected pillows and sleep masks, in case anyone wanted to borrow one, and a star-shaped stone she found by Luminous Lake the first week of her first year at school. The stone was smooth and pleasing to hold. Whenever she slept somewhere new, Piper always took her Serenity Stone. It made her feel better. After she packed, she changed into her nightgown, because why wait? Then she tossed everything into a star sack, which started about the same time as a lunch bag, but kept expanding the more it held. At the last moment, Piper threw in another pillow. Finally, she took the cosmic transporter to Libby and Gemma's room, and arrived at the same star min as a bot delivering 12 snuggle sacks. Piper loved the sacks. The heavily quilted tubes immediately adjusted to a starling's height and body shape, so that they were tremendously comfy when you slipped inside. It was like sleeping on a soft field of glow moss, even if you were on a hard floor. "Welcome," Libby said. Piper noted the skylight, letting in beams of starlight, and felt her spirits rise higher, even when she realized she'd left her tooth light behind. Meanwhile, the girls rushed to claim their snuggle sacks and a spot on the floor to sleep. "Wait, everyone," said Libby. "There's plenty of room." Then she took out her guitar. Let's start the sleepover with a sing-along." "You mean everyone sings at the same time?" said Leona, horrified. This isn't some star camp bonfire, you know." Libby played a few chords. "Just give it a chance, Leona." The girls all sat in a circle and sang old favorites, like Moonbeams and Rainbows and Stars in Your Eyes, and then new hits like Lighten Up and Lightning Strikes Twice. Afterward, they told stories about their first day at the academy. Piper admitted she had gotten so lost she had to call for help on her Stars app. Not once, not twice, but almost a high-jong times. Sage confided with a giggle that it had taken her star weeks to finally read the student manual. The talk faded into some comfortable silence when Gemma suggested they give each other spa treatments. It's always fun to do nails, but look. She held up her hands. Our old polish has really held up. It's true, Tessa agreed. No one needs new manicures. Well, we can still do our hair. Libby moved aside some sacks to clear space in a corner. Who wants to be my first customer? Not me, said Leona, marching over and plopping down on a cushion. She picked up a bottle of glitter spray. Can you use this to highlight my golden streaks? Let me do it, said Astra, walking over. She took the spray and spritzed it all over Leona's hair. Immediately, the yellow curls turned a bright magenta. How do I look? Piper interrupted Leona, shaking her head. Here, she handed Leona a small hand mirror. Smiling, Leona angled the mirror for the best view. What? She spluttered, angry sparks flying. Astra! How could you make a mistake like that? Star apologies, Leona, Astra said. It's just temporary. It will wash out. Leona hurried off, and Astra started fiddling with Piper's hair, but Piper slid out from under her hands. She liked her hair color just fine. She really doesn't like having her roommate's hair color. It was a fun evening. After some hairstyle judging, snacking on Star Moors, a moon feather pillow fight, and several rounds of starades, Cassie pointed to their hostess, who was already sound asleep. Looks like it's time to hit the sack, she said. Gemma picked up the star stick that Astra had brought with her, walked over to the snuggle sacks, and smacked one of them. Really? Said to her sister. Oh my god, nope. Wait. Really? Said her sister. Soon they found they were all comfy, settling into their sacks, arranged in a star shape, with their heads in the center. Hold on. Okay. You know, said Cassie, sitting up, have you noticed that there hasn't been a wish mission in a while? She paused. No offense, but maybe it was postponed because mine went so spectacularly well. Really, Cassie? Said Astra, picking up a stuffed Twinklelope and tossing it at her. As expected, it hit Cassie right in the middle of her forehead. Everyone laughed, Sage the longest and loudest. Cassie scowled, but good-naturedly, and lay back down. So who do you think will go next? Piper asked dreamily. Of course, Piper was convinced she knew the answer. She would. And hadn't her dream said as much. I don't know, said Vega. Who here is wishing to take on the mission? Suddenly, Piper sat up in her sack and grinned. I know. Maybe we can make a mission happen faster with a visualization. Let's hold hands and visualize our wish orbs. She thought Leona or Scarlet might snicker. Neither one was particularly into mental imagery. Instead, they, along with every other star darling, reached out their hands. Even Libby seemed to sense something in her sleep and stretched out her arms. Close your eyes and imagine our special wish cavern, Piper began in a low voice. See the remaining wish orbs? Smell the aroma, a little starlandy, a little wish-worldy. Sage sniffed the air and giggled. Each and every wish orb is glowing, Piper went on. She could sense the girl smiling. Now look closely at just one. That's your wish orb. Watch it glow. Feel the intensity. Piper's own wish orb glowed so strongly she felt its heat. Suddenly, she saw a rainbow of colors shoot from her orb and flow right into the center of the Star Darling circle like a fountain of sparkly hues. All 12 Star Darlings sat up with a start. Their faces glowed with wonder. Piper gazed at her friends. Did you see it too? She asked. Tessa nodded. It was beautiful, like fireworks at the Festival of Illumination. And it started right in front of you, Piper, Gemma added. Piper snuggled deeper into her sack. All that powerful wish energy had come from her visualization. Her wish orb had exploded with light and color. She was definitely the next Star Darling to go on a mission. But what else did it mean? If she succeeded in her mission, would she collect more energy than ever before? And if she failed, what then? The stakes were so high, Piper's toe tingled. She reached for her stone and rubbed her thumb along its edge. The visualization over, some girls still whispered about the burst of color and light. Others talked about the boys at the school across the lake. Vega tried to get everyone to play Ammonium questions, but Piper's eyes were closing. She took a deep breath, cleansing breath, enjoyed the feeling of warmth and heaviness that was overtaking her. Within Star Sex, she was fast asleep. Piper was dreaming she was moving through a shadowy landscape, a dim shape moving with her. A starling Piper couldn't make out, but a dark presence nonetheless. Piper could feel in every inch of her being that this starling could not be trusted. She tried to pull away from the starling, but it was difficult. She pushed herself to run faster, to be stronger, but then she stumbled, and suddenly she was falling. Piper woke up gasping. She could still see that the starling's indistinct form felt a menace. The idea that someone was not the starling he or she seemed was so powerful, and the dream was so frightening, that Piper was shaking. And why was she on the floor? Nothing looked familiar. She shook harder. "It's okay, Piper." A cool hand brushed her forehead. "You had a bad dream. That's all. You're here with us, safe and sound." Piper breathed Piper breathed easier. She was in Libby's room with the other star darlings, of course. She turned to Sage, who was crouching beside her, her lavender eyes filled with concern. "Star apologies for waking you, Sage." "You don't have to apologize. My little brothers wake me up all the time," she said with a laugh. "It's fine, Piper. It's fine, Piper. You just had a bad dream." "Well, that's just it," Piper explained quietly. "I don't think it was a bad dream. I think it meant something important." Next to them, Leona muttered in her sleep and smiled like she was modeling for a holo photo. "Let's go outside," Sage whispered, "so we can really talk." She looked around toward the door, and it opened without a sound. Piper nodded, and the two crept quietly around the sleeping girls. They stepped onto the cosmic transporter and made their way outside, where the moon shone with a comforting yellow light and a starlight. Where the moon shone with a comforting yellow light and starlight illuminated the trees with lovely brightness. The girls settled in a soft grassy spot and for a moment watched the flare flies buzz in looping circles. "So, can I tell you about my dream?" Piper finally asked. "Sometimes it helps to talk." "Of course," said Sage. "It starts on the Wish World surveillance deck. I'm waiting for a shooting star to take me to Wish World when a shadow falls over me. It's a starling, an evil one, but I can't tell who, and this cold, clamming feeling comes over me." Sage stifled a giggle. Piper stopped talking. Sage shook her head and said, "Go on, Piper. I'm really listening." "Okay, so this starling reaches out to me, but I run away, and I'm running faster and faster. I can't tell where I am now. All I see is shadows." Sage giggled again. She waited for Piper to continue, but with every word Piper said, Sage laughed louder and longer. Piper stood up to leave, brushing grass from her nightgown. "Wait!" Sage choked out between giggles, but Piper had enough. She turned on her heel. "Come on, Piper," Sage pleaded. "Why don't you just laugh at me so hard and long you'll never have the wish energy to move a glimmer feather, much less anything else," Piper said. No one had stronger energy manipulation skills than Sage, and Piper knew it was her secret pride. Sage sucked in her breath, finally silent. Without another word, Piper strode to the dorm and back to Libby and Gemma's room. But outside their doors, she realized she wouldn't be able to get in. The scanner would refuse her entrance. Only Libby and Gemma were allowed automatic entry. Piper groaned. She didn't want to disturb anyone. Just then, she heard Sage's giggles floating through the air. Well, at least Sage will be stuck outside too, Piper sighed. She didn't like having those negative thoughts, and she certainly hadn't wanted to lash out the way she had at Sage. But sometimes she couldn't help herself. Maybe that would change after her mission. Right then, she felt like she was in limbo, just waiting to be chosen. Back in her own room, lying on her waterbed, Piper felt doubly worse. Of course she had overreacted to Sage's giggle fits. Sage was just trying to help, and she must have been overtired. If Piper had said anything, even good night, she would have collapsed with laughter. Piper understood. She was exhausted too. She slept late the next day, no matter what. She'd sleep the next day, no matter what. Sure enough, Piper slept so late the next morning that when she walked to the cafe, the rest of the Star Darlings were finishing their meal. As soon as they saw Piper, they stopped talking. Quickly, Piper slid into the empty seat between Clover and Astra. "So what did I miss this morning?" She was trying for a cheerful tone. But the corners of her mouth turned around, and suddenly she felt as she might cry. Sage must have told all the Star Darlings how sarcastic Piper had been the night before. Clover hugged her, which made Piper feel better for a star sec, until Clover stood up and hugged a first year walking by. A girl Piper doubted Clover knew. Pointedly, Sage moved a cloth napkin through the air, then onto Piper's lap. See, Piper, she said lightly, I haven't used all my wish energy laughing. She giggled loudly and clapped a hand over her mouth. Sorry, she said. Sage didn't sound angry at her, and Piper sighed with relief. I was a little stir-crazed myself last night, Sage. The sleepover helped us connect. Let's try and hold on to that feeling. Piper waved a bot waiter to take her order. She wasn't very hungry, and she still felt a little tired. Clearly, Libby did too. At some point during breakfast, she had put her head on the table and dozed off. I'll just have a cup of Zing, Piper told the bot. That shouldn't help. That should help, she thought as it zoomed off. Vega's eyes widened in shock. I can't believe you're only having Zing. You know it's not the healthiest thing. Piper nodded. I know, but I really need to wake up, she explained. Her stomach grumbled. Where's that bot waiter? She said. Maybe I will order something. Astra handed her a plate of Astro muffins. Go ahead, Piper, take one, she said. Tessa will be back in a minute, but she won't mind. Piper bit into the soft muffin. Hot! She cried, waving a hand in front of her mouth. Oh, sorry, said Piper, who had just returned to the table. I slathered them in star pepper jelly to cover up the moonberry taste. Luckily, a bot waiter had just brought over Piper's Zing. Gratefully, she took a long, deep gulp. What? She sputtered, spraying the drink everywhere. That's not Zing! Clover leaned over to take a tentative sip. She made a face. It's hot spring tonic. Ugh. Nobody likes it except Astra, Piper finished. Astra burst out laughing. Okay, Piper, I switched her drinks. She passed over the real cup of Zing. I thought it would be funny. Sage giggled. See? Sage thinks so. Sage thinks everything and everyone is funny, Leona said. Piper took a sip of Zing. Nothing had been making much sense lately, but Piper tuned everything out, took a few deep breaths, and felt her shoulders relax. It was still early. What better incentive was there to say, centered when her wish mission would begin at any moment. Chapter 4. So, Astra's clearly pranking. Yes, everything is better between Astra and Clover, but Clover still is kind of, with Astra. Sage is laughing nonstop. Piper's finishing other sentences. Vega is literally, laughing at everything and everyone. And Clover literally just hugged a first year who Piper is pretty sure she doesn't know, which fair, because Clover's a second year and barely hangs out with any of the first years besides, like, the Star Darlings. So, there's some weird shit going on. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.